Welcome, everybody, back to Dan United. I've missed you, but first... Yes. Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody's had a fantastic weekend. It feels like a Monday to me, but it is Tuesday. Oh, what a week, and what a week for Manchester United. Get the chest back. It's been a long weekend. Look, we'll start straight into it because there have been the reports coming out, and we'll go through the comments. Don't you worry, you beautiful buggers. There have been comments that have been circulating, and I kind of told you all that these comments would circulate sooner rather than later. My voice, man. Excuse me. I told you these comments would circulate sooner rather than later due to the fact that Manchester United have a named manager. We know that. The manager has not been named, although what I will say quickly, let me bring it up, is let's all laugh at Spurs. Let's all laugh at Spurs. Oh, let's get me back. That's just class, isn't it? That's just absolutely class. I mean, this is just beautiful, isn't it? This is just beautiful. I mean, I look, we were worried that he was going to end up with us, so that's another one that we go, chick, off he goes. But I had to show you all that. I think it's class. I think it's absolute class. I don't know why Tonali's there. Let's move him out of the way. So yeah, look, I think we're entering. We know we're in the summer pre-transfer window. We know that, but I think it's quite validated that these players and their agents are quite rightly turning around to Manchester United and saying, "United, who the fuck is going to be in charge of your club?" It's been reported today, Andy Mitten saying possible incoming players want to know who they are going to be playing for at United. They want to know if it will be a manager who will improve them as a player, what style of football will be played, and will they be playing? I know this because I've spoken to the people who know these things, including agents. And this is the thing. Look, Manchester United can do the honourable thing. They can do we're zoned in. We're not making the same mistakes again. We're doing everything right. But ultimately, Manchester United, if they want to get out there and they want to bring these players at the club, well, then they have to say, right, this is our manager. This is our manager, yeah? Because I think agents and players are completely within their rights. I mean, just imagine if you've got a Tonali or an Anderson and they go, do you know what? I quite like Carrick. Carrick's done quite well there. Enrique would be the dream. He's a manager that's won Champions Leagues. He managed Barcelona, Spain, blah, 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 blah. And then they end up with a Glasner. And they go, what the fuck have I done here? Why am I here? So I think this is probably a bit of a... I think this has to go down as a bit of a kick up the arse for Ineos, for Barada, for Wilcox, for Vivell. Manchester United, we know, have had a fantastic season. They have. It's simple. It is simple, okay? But we need to make sure that if Carrick's the manager, just go ahead and announce it. We cannot wait to see what PSG do in the Champions League. By the way, it looks like PSG are entering bloody contract negotiations with Enrique anyway. So doesn't it just make sense to set your bloody stall and say, right, this is the gaffer. These are the players we want. Speak to the agents. Bring them in. It is simple. And I think Ineos, I'm not furious at the fact that Ineos are trying to do their due diligence, but let's be honest here. What due diligence is left to do? De Zerbi, they looked at, has gone to Spurs. Emery ain't leaving Villa. And by looks of it, he's way down the list now. Glasner has been an absolute catastrophe this season. Enrique, potentially going to stay at the club. Like, am I missing something here? Poch, don't even talk to me about Poch. We don't want to be anywhere near Poch. So I think Manchester United now have to do the right thing and just say, look, Carrick, you've done a good job. Here you go. I mean, look at this. I don't normally take a lot of notice of these, but look at that. Chances of finishing in the Premier League top four have increased by an incredible 70% to 88%, the highest of any team. Let's not forget that Manchester United have Leeds United, first game back. Chelsea have City at home, first game back in the Premier League. Manchester United could potentially go 10 points clear. If at that point Manchester United are 10 points clear, what are we doing here? Do you know what I mean? Just give him the bloody job already. Give him the job. There's no one out there that I look at now, bar Enrique, and let's be honest, Enrique is not coming. I would love to sit here and say to you all, there's a chance, and I will sit here with players chat and I will say, there's a chance. But with Enrique, I don't see it. I just don't see it. It's gone quiet over the last couple of days. You'd think it would still be ramping up. You'd think there'd still be, Enrique potentially wants to come to United. I think it's done. So instead of messing agents around, instead of potentially missing out on players who want to know what style of football we're playing, who want to know essentially who their manager is going to be, just get it done. Like, just get it done, Ineos. Oh, my God. My voice is so hoarse, honestly. Inverness away. Whew! Inverness. If anybody ever's done Inverness, it's class. Inverness is a great place to go. 8-hour drive with Mrs. Robinson. That was a bloody long one. A lot of DMCs in that chat, I tell you. And thank you very much for the well-wishing messages for Mrs. Robinson yesterday. Unfortunately, we got down to surgery today and they brought her in, they did her bloods, and then do you know what they did? They sent her home. So for that, do you know what? NHS, you're in the fucking book. NHS, you're in the book. And Mrs. Robinson is a nurse, so I say that with a heavy heart. Let's go through some of the comments anyway. Gaza says, hi, Dan and chat family stuff tonight, but I'll catch up on this stream when I can. Please tap up the likes and subscribe to this legend. Appreciate that, Gaza. Good to see you, mate. Moxie says, evening, Dan and Dan United family. Fucking hate international breaks. I will catch up with the stream later on. Have a good show. Come on, United. Absolutely. After the Sun 100 says, I'm already dreading losing Anderson to y'all. At least the money will be worth it. We have got stuff. There is plenty to talk about with transfers, which I think we'll probably lose this beautiful man about when we come to talk about it. But good to see you, Wahaha. Hope you're well. Oi, oi, Savalai, Anthony, good to see you, mate. Spurs have more managers than win this season. That's not true, is it? Isn't that this year? I mean, that's this year, but it's still banter. This De Zerbi news is a death rattle for Spurs, desperation and mismanagement on parade. It looks Carpy. Good to see you, beautiful man. And Steve-O, evening. Good to see you. Evening, Jamie. I'm hoarse. I'm very hoarse. Best case for keeping Anderson is that Man U coach sucks, City get relegated and he stays at Forest. I don't think it'll go like that. Carrick has done a good enough job and shown enough to say he is worth a year unless you can get a top manager. Absolutely agree with that. And where is this top manager, Anthony? I don't see one out there that we can go and get. Ben says, evening all, it will 100% be Carrick for the Glazers and Jim. It's the cheapest option regardless of results. Ba-da-boom. Correct. I don't know what that was. That was meant to be a bit of a drummer, innit? That was ridiculous. I'm never doing that again. Steve-O says, what is it? One game lost in two spells. Can't argue with that. Get Carrick to sign something, even if it's a fucking napkin, whatever. Are England losing? Do you know what? I lost interest. I mean, it was good. Manu and Anderson were starting tonight. I know that, but it's the friendlies. I got no interest, and that's not being a glory hunter. I don't think these friendlies should happen. I don't see the point in them. I get it. We've got World Cup playoffs and blah blah blah, but this is just a pointless exercise. Honestly, my throat is so bad. I think I drank about 28 Guinnesses. Ben says, was just about to say, hope all. Yeah, it wasn't the best. And I feel for her. I really do. It really upset her. My surgery 2 weeks ago, sat in hospital game with me pits dangling for 4 hours for them to cancel. Back in again on Thursday for another try. Anthony, I hope it goes well for you, mate. I hope you get in there. I know firsthand with Mrs. Robinson how it feels. It's not the best. And look, we're a football show, so I'm not going to dwell too much on it. But you know what I mean? The government just enjoy. Yeah, I'm not even going to go there. Right then. So talking about Anderson. If United decide to sign Anderson, they will try to complete the deal before the start of the World Cup. Would you take him for more than 100 million? And I'll ask you guys that. I will ask you that. I will ask you that because I think it's a valid question. This goes with Tonali as well. I think either Tonali or Anderson, which we'll talk about Tonali in a bit, they're going to cost us a lot of money. So would you be willing to spend 100 million on the right midfielder? Would you be willing to spend 100 million on the right midfielder, chat? Put your vote in there. Be interested to see what you think on that. Because here's where I am with the whole Anderson, is it Tonali? It's like a game of tennis for Manchester United at the moment. It's Tonali, Anderson, Tonali, Anderson. There are things we can talk about with the fact we don't, we want who we want, we love who we love, we dream the same thing, blah, 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 blah. I'm looking at this as a positive, okay? In a day that I am so negative because of poor Mrs. Robinson, I'm looking at this as a positive. Manchester United have set their stalls out on their midfield players they're going for. Elliot Anderson, Tonali, Wharton, sorry, mind went blank. Balaba's still in there. The fact of the matter is, we know that we are going to get one or two of those midfielders. It's to quote the great Erica Sinclair from Stranger Things, it's the facts. It's the facts. Now, I am not stupid. I'm an idiot, but I'm not stupid. And I know that Tonali or Anderson is going to be spenny. It's going to be spenny. There is no world where we go in and we say, do you know what? We've just signed Anderson for 40 million, or, oh my God, we've signed Tonali for 50 million. These guys are the prices they are because of the players they are. It's not out of the realms of possibility for us to go and slap down the money that is needed. But this goes back to the Diamande chat. When I put the short on about Diamande at the weekend, I would rather spend 100 million on a central midfielder that I know was going to come in and galvanise and change the team. Absolutely. The midfield's the most important part for us. I don't want to be slapping down 100 million on a left winger who's had a decent season and, yes, has a high roof. He could absolutely turn into something. I don't want that. I would much rather spend it on a player that is going to come and galvanise the team. So straight away, we've got 100% yes. Get your votes in on that. Get your votes in. Dan, before you put the video out about keeping Rashford, if he can settle down, I would demand, I'd keep him and put that 100. Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, we've had some uneasy conversations about Rashford, and unfortunately, these conversations are going to continue, by the way. By the way, they're going to continue. The Rashford saga is going to roll on throughout the summer. I would hazard a guess. I would hazard a guess that Rashford will be on pre-season tour, or he'll be back at the club training on his own, because I don't think Barcelona on the last day of the season are going to go, there's your money, right, we'll have him. They're going to try and change it. They're going to try and weasel out of it. So be prepared for that. Horrible fourth. Yeah, it's horrendous, mate. It's horrendous. Anthony, thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Bits dangling. That reminds me of the next challenge. Dangle United. No chance. Not with my testicles. They're long and distended. Too much information there. The price is going around the place of top player is going to cost 100 million. Absolutely. Tonali's got a contract until 2029, plus a possible extra year. Going to cost us 100 million for someone with less than best character references, and we've had our fair share of characters. Yeah, we have. Anderson may have a relegation clause. Same with Morgan Gibbs-White. Look, Wolfie's very, 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 very coy about this. Very coy. He knows something. And 100 million is a hell of a lot, when in reality, he could also be a flop. Are we talking about Diamande there, or are we talking about Anderson or Tonali versus Isaac? Classic cases. I mean, look, Isaac was a Premier League proven striker, wasn't he? Banging goals in for Newcastle. But then he has broke his leg, so we can't give him too much stick there. Now, if I go back, how much do we make if we get third? I see a TikTok say, well, it's more the Champions League TV rights, Jamie. Like the amount you earn throughout the table, it goes up, but it doesn't go up stupid amounts. It's the Champions League TV rights. That is where the big money is. That is where and also the amount you get paid for a win in the Champions League. I think I don't know if they do it in this format, because unfortunately we haven't been in the Champions League, but I'm pretty sure you get a split of a pot at the end as well. the higher you finish up that table, but I might be wrong. Champions League rights, that's where the big money is. That's where Manchester United are. I think that's why we're looking at these players now. Honestly, Guinness has killed me. Guinness has killed me. 150 million. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Darko says, so who do you think's got more chance of becoming a flop out of the three? I'm going to start that, and I'm going to save that for in a bit. That's a fucking good question, Darko. Well done. I don't know why I'm saying well done. You know what you're talking about. Now, this obviously come out, and this... do you remember a couple of... Well, I think it was Friday. Was it? No, it wasn't Friday. I was at the game. Maybe Thursday. I said to you about Manchester United of old would always go, we like this player. Then they get told a price, or they get told the player didn't want to come to him, and then they do the whole, nah, didn't really like him. Didn't really like him. We looked at him, but our scouts decided that Christian Eriksen was a better fit, and fucking nonsense. Apparently, United sources have played down the prospect of a move for Tonali in the summer. United identified Tonali as a top target last summer, but the overall costs involved meant the club did not pursue him. And while there remains interest at this time, the club are also considering other options. His gambling ban and the overall cost of factors. Right, I'm going to say this right now. The gambling ban has fuck all to do with it. Okay, it's gone. I'd like to think he's rehabilitated. Blah 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 blah. If we honestly, right, are we Manchester United the football club, or are we Manchester United fucking Betfred, talk to Frank, whatever it is? We're not. We want to bring the players in that are going to do well. I don't look at this, and I don't take this as credible news. What I take this is damage limitation. If they hadn't have had anything from the player or the agent to say that they were interested, then I think this would be plastered more. And I think Manchester United would then go down the lines of, we were never interested in the first place. We didn't want him. He's a gambler. We stay away from gamblers. Nonsense. This story from James Horncastle, I don't think is a legit story. I think it's a nothing story. 83% of you have said 100 million would be about right. I'm going to do Darkro's poll because it is a very good poll. Let me just get that up. Who out of the three potential signings could be a flop? So we'll go Tonali, we'll go Anderson, and we will go Wharton. We'll put Wharton in there. Right then, who out of the three potential signings could be a flop? Get your votes in. There you go. Darkrai, you speak, I listen. But then obviously after this was dropped, you still got other bits of news coming out. I mean, look, this was Nathan Salt and Chris Wheeler who said United are expected to be at the front of the queue this summer should Tonali become available, despite a belief within United that a deal would be expensive. This goes back to what I said before. It's absolute nonsense. To buy the better players, you have to pay the money. We got away with it with the signings last season. I thought Brian Mbeumo would have gone for 60, 70, 80, 90 million. I really did, because he'd been on the back of 2 or 3 decent seasons. He was showing consistency. Cunha, I knew that we'd get that for the price we did. With Tonali, with Elliot Anderson, the money is going to have to be spent on them. Like, I don't think we're looking at this the correct way. Casemiro is due to leave the club. The guy brings so much to the team, but he can't do both. That is why we're spending the money on an Anderson or a Tonali, who have the legs. That's key thing here, to go up and down the field. That is the key thing here. So this here, I honestly think that we will absolutely be at the front of the queue. I think Manchester United have to be at the front of the queue as well. You can't go putting the feelers out in the middle of March to then get to the end of the season and go, fuck it. Nah, actually, we weren't interested. Tonali, where is it here? There we are. Tonali's name is still in the mix, but reports suggesting a deal being advanced and progressing quickly are premature. Absolutely no problem with that. I've got no problem whatsoever with that. And then Fab comes out and says, United are working really hard on a deal to sign Tonali with the Italian midfielder very, very highly rated at the club. So look, we are having the big boys come out and talk about this now. The big boys are coming out. They're getting a whiff. They've gone, yep, Yeah, we're all jumping on the Tonali bandwagon. What I don't want us to do is panic. I don't want us to look at stories like this. Where is it? Where is it? I don't want us to look at stories like this. Fucking hell. I don't know what's happening with my mouse today. It's not even that one I bloody looked at. Sorry, guys. My mouse is playing up. My mouse is playing up. I don't want us to look at this and get worried, because there's no way that this would just come out and we go, that's the end of it, we'll move on. There was a telling bit about Baleba, which I want to go through in a minute. In fact, let me bring it up here. And I think this, to me, tells me everything about why we didn't go for our preferred midfielder last season. So Man United have put Baleba in the same category. Had put Baleba in the same category as Tonali last year, and they briefly explored a move. Interest could be revived, but he's one of many players on the list. Man United's top range last year was 50 million. They will have more to spend in the upcoming window. I think that speaks volumes, chat. I think Manchester United looked at this lad and went, yeah, we'll spend 50 on him. There's potential there, but he's nowhere near proven enough. Baleba wasn't the same impact that Caicedo had at Brighton. Caicedo come to Brighton and he was just a unit. Baleba had a good season. Manchester United, I think, purposely held off on 50 million with him last season. And I think they held off because they looked at it and said, right, we want Champions League next season. I mean, fair play to them for believing that they could do it, because let's be honest, who here thought we'd get Champions League this season? Nobody did. Nobody did. But what I will say is, I think that they looked at a cheaper option with Baleba. They chucked that 50 million bid in. Brighton laughed at us. We're laughing at Brighton now because he's playing like shit. And I think United all along went, next summer, we're going to look at the other midfielders. Because Anderson was mentioned at the end of the summer. Tonali was mentioned in the summer. I remember Pete laughing at me horrendously about this. I think there's been a long-term plan with Manchester United in the midfield. And do you know something? If that is the case, then for all the things that Ineos have got wrong, for all the things that we've heard Wilcox has come out and said, for all the things that we've wanted to happen but haven't happened, you'd have to say that just maybe this club is starting to heal a little bit. Maybe. Just maybe. Because if this is the long-term game, I think absolutely. I think absolutely. I mean, it's the right option. I think it's the right option. Let me check how that poll's going, by the way. I'm stunned at get your votes in the poll. Who out of the 3 potential signings could be a flop? At the moment, Tonali is at 43%. I'm going to be honest with you. I find that shocking. And don't worry, we're not on that channel. You're not on that channel with the other bloke who calls you a moron and an idiot. I'm not going to call you an idiot or a moron, but I don't think Tonali flops out of those 3. Oh, man, I'm stunned at that. Get your votes in. Get your votes in, you beautiful buggers, and smash a like if you haven't already. Now, let's get on to Wharton, because Wharton, this story does baffle me a little bit. Insiders expect Adam Wharton's value to be valued around 60, 70 million. We knew that. We knew it would be around about that. But there are some concerns that his style of play is a bit too similar to that of Kobbie Mainoo. To that, I'm going to say this. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Manchester United, when we were at our top, when we were at the top of our game, right? When we were the top, when we were the masters of the universe, when we were winning everything, the reason we did so is because we had 2 players in every position. 2 quality players in every position. This isn't a concern. If you're asking me to be completely honest, I think Wharton's better than Mainoo. I do. And before you come for me and say you can't say that, he's a United player, Mainoo's younger. I think Wharton's a little bit further. I think Wharton's a bit more advanced in what he does. Let's not forget that for Kobbie Mainoo, it has been a tough 18 months. Let's not forget, for a year, he basically played minutes. Like minutes. He didn't get that many games under Amorim. That was always going to slow his growth a little bit. But this is a nonsensical story. Chris Wheeler and Nathan Salt, They've released some good stuff, but I look at that and I go, what the fuck are they talking about? Let's go through some more of these comments quickly. 4 Prem in a row, good to see you, mate. He says, did you hear Bernardo Silva is leaving? I can't wait. I know you love him. He's one of your players. I think Bernardo Silva to Manchester City is what Bruno Fernandes is to us in the way I mean. He's a twat, but he's our twat. He does things that riles other fans, but he's our twat. And I think that's where I'm at with that. I was talking about Anderson doing it at Forest is one thing, but coming to a big club with that price tag could weigh heavy. That's a cracking poll idea. It bloody was. Tonali has previous of doing it in the big stage. Agree with that. If Pep and a few players are leaving City, maybe Anderson will see that as a worry for the charges. Maybe gives us an edge. I said I don't think that the Anderson thing's completely over. I don't think it's dead in the water. Manchester United have obviously been given a sign or an indication that there is a conversation worth having, because we wouldn't be banging the drum so much if it was as cut and dry as everyone is saying that Anderson is going to go to Man City. Then I think we would already be pulling out of that one and we'd be focusing on everywhere else. But we are still focusing on Anderson. This summer is going to be a crazy one, chat. This summer is going to be nuts. It's going to be fucking mental for Manchester United. Buckle up. It is. Last year, I was saying on the 12th man that like we were in the pits and buckle up. It was going to be a horrendous year. The transfer window is going to be a joyride, I think. Isak was sold for 125 million. He's not worth it. Newcastle will put extra on Tonali. They'll try and Connor, says Steve-O. I don't think they'll get 125 million for him, no. I don't see that. And look, do you know something? Like, it's worth noting that Newcastle fans are all saying, you know, he will obviously, you know, because we stuck by him with the ban, he won't be an arsehole about it. Let me tell you something now, yeah? When a player wants to leave a club, all of that goes out the window. All of that goes out the window. I remember in the olden days, and I say the olden days, I mean the noughties, when William Gallas was reportedly saying he'd score an own goal if Chelsea wouldn't allow him to move to Arsenal. Players do the whole, I'm here, I kiss the badge. This badge, right, this badge here, I'll level with you, chat. We only care about this badge. Players don't. They don't. They do the whole score a goal and yeah, they look at the crowd, yeah. They don't give a flying fuck. They don't. When they want to go, they want to go. I think it will get quite messy with Tonali. That's tough or really promising potential, but all could easily flop. Ben says, Tonali stands to attention. Wharton semi-on, Anderson floppy. Diamande even floppier. Okay, I had to read that twice then. I had to read that twice. I think Anthony was the same. Went Wharton, but none of them will flop, says Itlas Carpi. Love that. I'm getting off that one. I'm just unsure about Wharton. He does play a bit like Mainu's style. Greg says Anderson's better than Tonali. Wharton's better than Baleba. Dan's mum's better than Baleba. She isn't. I can tell you that, lad. Fucking hell, if you know her. Ben says, look, Jimmy Garner, Manchester United dropped the biggest bollock of all with Jimmy Garner. They did. How many of you remember me saying in January, go and get Jimmy Garner? His contract's due to end at the end of the season. He'll be maybe 20 million. Go and get him. We didn't go and get him. And now he's worth 60, 70 million. That's what Everton have put a price tag on him for. He's class. He is the utility player we should have gone for. We dropped a massive L there. Do you think Chelsea could lose some of their big midfield players? And would you take any? I'd take Caicedo, absolutely. And you know what? I'd take Garnacho back. Newsflash. I would take Garnacho back from Chelsea. I would. Absolutely. I would take him back just so he could sit and rot in Carrington, because that little shit has been found wanting this season. And also, big news on Chelsea, because a couple of Chelsea players have come out today and openly questioned the board. Cucurella said he wants to go Barca, says he can't understand why they're going for young players all the time when there are players there ready to go. There are things happening there, I'm telling you. Thoughts on Orozco? I tell you something about, I want to, do you know, it looks carpy. Do you know, I'm not going to. I want to do a video on this lad. I want to do a video on this lad. I have been very quick off the mark with some of these young lads we've got in. My first one was Kone, but I genuinely, I love the look of this lad. And this is a video in itself. Thank you for the idea there. Tonali is the least likely to flop. Also worth noting, Newcastle look like FFP is going to kick their ass. I mean, look, Newcastle have sold the rights to their stadium. Apparently it was done last year. Sold the rights to their stadium. And I feel sorry for Newcastle because Newcastle shouldn't have to do that to try and get in with FFP. They shouldn't have to want to do that. It's just all over the place, isn't it? I agree Wharton is better than Mainu. Thought of them both playing together worries me, though. I can take that on board, Ben. I can take that on board. We've clashed sometimes about Mainu, but I can take that on board. Newcastle is going to try and squeeze 100 million out of us. Newcastle will want more than Forest will ask for Anderson. Nah, they won't. Marianakis is a fucker. Wharton would be an improvement for over Mainu, and we could probably sell Mainu for similar money and keep all the FFP. We're not selling Mainu. Just because we're talking about midfielders, we're not selling Mainu. 56% of you are saying Tonali could be a flop. I'm going to end the poll because it's making my eyes bleed. Ugh. To be honest, I don't think any of them are worth 100 million now. Tonali and Anderson, 75 million max. Wharton, 60 million max. Here's the other thing with that before we move on, because I do want to move on. There's some hilarious stories I want to go through. It's not going to be a straight 100 million slapdown, is it? We're not going to turn around and go 10 million, 20 million, 30 million, 40 million, 50 million, 60 million, 70 million, 90 million, 100 million. Thank you. We'll have them. It will be in installments. But yeah, I agree. I don't think anyone's worth 100 million. Footballers aren't worth the money that it's a business. I don't like how much money is in football. How quickly would all these players lose interest in City should the 115 FFP violations finally be dealt with? Look, football's a fickle game, Gregory. Football is a fickle game. And I think we all know that once, if proven guilty, not once, if proven guilty, I think we'll see a lot of players go, do you know what? I don't fancy City, you know? It's going to be interesting. I've said it all along. I'm due to go away with LB. I'm taking LB up to watch Queen of the South play in the end of April, actually. So I'll have a really good chat with him. I might see if we can do a bit of a collab video before then. But it'd be interesting. Yeah, I was joking. Anderson is top of almost all the stats as an 8. You're getting what you pay for at 90 million. Yeah, after the sum, what I mean when I say 100 million, I don't think anyone's worth that much money. I think football's been ruined by money. I remember when we signed Dwight York for 12 million and I nearly fell off my fucking chair. And I was like, I think it was 12 then. I was like, 12 million for a player. It just flies up, doesn't it? Good to see you, Carlos. Good to see you, mate. I hope you're doing well, you beautiful man. And Ben says, wonder how many, if any, City players have relegation release clauses. I don't think they do, but I tell you what they will have. They'll have a big fucking problem on their hands if they end up playing fucking Oxford United away. Anyway, let's move on from Wharton, because I did want to touch on this quickly. Queen of the South, tell us more. Queen of the South, I'm part of a supporters group, the Shrewsbury branch, Queen of the South. They're in League One of Scotland, and I've been going to watch them for a few years. The lads who were part of the Shrewsbury branch have been going to watch them for 30 years, nearly. And it's a great group to be involved with. I go up there. We have a really good weekend away. We do away days all over the place. So this year it was Inverness. Went to a nice little town called Nairn. I'll be honest with you, lads. It's a weekend on the piss. My old captain, he's one of the main guys there, and he says it's a brilliant weekend away, ruined by 90 minutes of football. But this weekend on Friday, we went there and we drew 1-1. It was a fantastic result. Mrs. Robinson is somewhat of a good luck charm. She's never seen them lose on these away days. And that macaroni pie was absolutely fucking banging. Do you know what I went on to? I will go on to this news in a second. Do you know what drink I relived my youth a little bit? I went on to Turbo Shandies. Has anybody had a Turbo Shandy? Put a comment in if you know what a Turbo Shandy is. And it was absolutely delicious. United District understands that Everton forward and Dyer is high on a list of targets. Some within United's recruitment department prefer him to other options such as Diamonde. Louder from the back. Louder from the back. Music to my ears. Diamonde, although seen as, a highly talented young winger, would also come with a hefty price tag. Some within the club may feel too expensive, considering the club to have other areas to focus on alongside bringing in another forward. This is music to my ears because I will say this. I do like Ndai. And fucking hell, that's football for you. I can't do it. I've got nothing left. I think he'd be a solid signing. I still don't think we should be getting a left winger, but if we're going to get any, I'd get this lad because I think he's going to be a lot cheaper than Diamonde. He comes with experience. He can play on the left and the right. We've seen this season that Ahmad's gone missing in a few games. We've also seen that Cunha does better in a more central role. So if the money's there once we've signed all the players that we want, then Ndai, absolutely go out there and get him. In fact, let me do that as a poll. Let me do it as a cheeky little poll. Who would you prefer? Who would you rather? I'll put. I can't even see that. Diamande, Ndai. Oh God, put myself in the book for that fucking singing. Is that the lad that slapped Will Keane? No, that was who slapped Will Keane? Who slapped? It was it Idris Gueye? Was it Idris Gueye that slapped him? It wasn't him. Everything has been ruined by money. You can't even say cheap as chips anymore. You absolutely can't. 50-50 straight away. I'm surprised at that. I don't think we should be spending 100 million on Diamonde. I think that would be a risk. It was gay. There we go. It was gay. It's not gay. It's not gay. But I think if Manchester United are going out there and looking at options, once we've got all of our positions sorted, once we've got the midfield, once we've got the left back, once we've got the right back, I think absolutely go for Ndai. I thought it was an interesting story. I'll leave that poll open a little bit. But we are going to come to Manchester United, it seems like, have their new bomb squad in the transfer window this year. And the first one, obviously, is Manuel Ugarte. Saw that, Ben. Manuel Ugarte intends to have his future defined before the World Cup begins. United are willing to sell him this summer. Juventus are one of those teams that will push hard for Ugarte, while Napoli have also expressed their intention to sign him. The player welcomes the possibility of playing in Italy or Spain. So he intends to have his future defined. You don't need to wait that long. No. Yeah, hang on. I'll give him a bell now. Yeah, Manuel. Yeah. It's Dan United. Yeah, I've just read that you intend to have your future defined. But yeah, don't worry about it. I can do it for you. You're gone, mate. You're gone. Ta-ra. Bye-bye, yeah? Don't... Oh. Just put the fucking phone down on me. Sometimes these honest conversations have to be had, chat. This is what the fuck are we doing here? Ugarte will absolutely, if it's not before the World Cup, it'll be after, but he will make space in the squad. I say make space, we need loads of players, but I mean budget-wise, we will bring in some money for him. He goes with my greatest, my greatest, I don't know, whatever. You can just fuck off. He's not good enough. He's not. He's absolutely not good enough. Ugarte's had his chat. He's had plenty of chances. It's time to go! I would rather have Nathaniel Brown, left back from Frankfurt. Yes, he's one of them. He is. And absolutely, we take a left back over a winger all day long. Subra's in the house. Slap a like for Subra. It was Idris Gay who slapped Keane. Michael Keane, what a prat. Steve-O, it's like you read my mind, because this is another story that I just find hilarious. I file this story under players just fucking what goes on up there. So the story is from Nathan Salt that Xerxes is determined to stay at Manchester United and make an impact next season. He firmly believes he will get chances under Carrick once United return to European football. Do you know something? Joshua Xerxes seems like a really nice bloke. He's very active on the socials. He's very complimentary of Manchester United. You can tell he loves the badge. You can tell he's got a lot of friends at the club, and that's lovely. That's really nice. Nice. But we ain't in the market for cheerleaders. He ain't good enough. We've seen him have opportunities, and he's had a couple of games where he's looked okay. I can admit that. But Xerxes has had little to no opportunities under Carrick since Carrick's been here. Carrick has opted for Mbeumo up top or Sesko. And neither the two shall ever meet. That is telling enough. If Xerxes honestly thinks that because of European football next season he's going to get more minutes, then he's deluded. Xerxes will go. Xerxes has to go. You know my thoughts? I would take Danny Welbeck, who's probably 10 years older than Xerxes, over Xerxes. I would happily bring Welbeck back and chuck Xerxes out there. Xerxes will go to Italy. I've got no doubt in my mind that Xerxes' time at Manchester United is done. It has to be, because he doesn't add anything to the style of play we have. He isn't quick enough. I think there's effort there. I've been quite horrible about him sometimes in games. I lose my head about him. But the fact of the matter is, his effort isn't there. Like, it is there. That's wrong. It's not his effort. I don't think he's quick enough. Like, it looks like it's an absolute ball ache for him to stretch and try and get a ball. I think technically he's got techers. He has. He has. We've seen. But as much as you're determined to stay, mate, I think it's over, mate. It's over. Time to go. Ben says, blows my mind that Juve and Napoli are interested in Ugarte. Look, fucking strange things happen. Rico Henry, I know you really like him, Carl. You've been banging that drum. I like Rico Henry. Red Times says, I don't know what's happened there. Krupi or over Xerxes. I would put you over Xerxes, Red Times. I honestly would put you over him. Again, I just don't. Look, it looks carpy. That is a great comment. It looks carpy. Give yourself. That is a great comment. I could absolutely see Xerxes at Everton. I could see him at Everton. He is the type of player I could see that Moyes would work with. If we could do something with that, beautiful. But I think he goes back to Juventus. I think he goes to Italy, sorry. I don't think he stays here. Ben says, Xerxes is the type of guy you'd want as the overage player in youth team, like Tom Huddleston used to do. Who else did it? It was Jay Spearing at Liverpool. I think he's still there. As long as we're ushering out Ugarte and Xerxes, might we please move out Mason Mount as well? I think Mason Mount's done. I did a who's going to stay, who's going to go a few weeks ago. I think we're going to have to revisit that at the end of the year. And I think, chat, when we do it, we're going to have to get fucking brutal, because I think United are going to try and get rid of a load. And Ben, that's what I'm thinking. That's exactly what I'm thinking. I think Xerxes could be Fellaini Mark II for David Moyes. Oh, it's a shout. It looks carpy. You've had an absolute fucking diamond of an idea there. If Xerxes can juggle, he can join Onana the Clown for a children's birthday. I've got stuff on Onana. I mean, like, it fucking falls right into it, doesn't it? I mean, fucking hell. Look, I'm all for believing in yourself. Sources close to Onana have said that his preference is to rejoin the United squad for pre-season training and fight for his place. Onana's representatives are expecting talks with the club before the end of May. Being rude here, chatting, I'm going to have to get on the fucking phone again. Right. Hello? Is that Onana's representatives? Yeah. Yeah, it's the Dan Meister General here. Yeah. No, I heard that you're coming back in pre-season. Yeah, don't worry about it. We don't need you. Don't worry about talks before the end of May. He's done. He's finished. Yeah? He's done. So do yourself a favour, sort out another club for him, and we'll... Fucking brilliant. That's another one that's hung up. That's another one that's hung up on me. I'm starting to take this fucking personally. I'm starting to think it might be me. Now, there are worries about Onana, and I will put this on here because this is something that is... I've forgot about all this. In all of the happiness that I've been feeling about us and Champions League football, we're going to have to do a video on just how many players' wages go up from us getting back into the Champions League, because there are a few in there that have got clauses in their contracts. And he is fucking one of them. This little shit is one of them. Couldn't catch a cold, this bloke. Salary is set to increase with United's likely European qualification. There are concerns that this will make it more difficult to find suitors, and there is a possibility that United have to contribute to wages on either a permanent or loan exit. Do you know something? I'm going to say this right now. United, we know, did horrendous fucking business with this guy. But if we have to set up a GoFundMe page to bloody fund paying wages for him to fuck off somewhere else, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. This guy should never, ever, ever play. In fact, fucking, do you know what? Just for the fucking fun of it, he's in the book. He's in the book. And he's not done anything wrong. He's just shit. He's just shit. Let me just read some more of these comments. I read something earlier that it was 8 at least we sell. I think it wouldn't surprise me at all. Tonali says Red Times has a rotten character. Belabour, his mentality is shite. Wharton is slow and won't work with Maynard in midfield. Honestly, Anderson is the best option. Anderson's a massive option. Anderson, and I think he is the favourite. Fucking 57% of you would rather Diamonde. Oh, God, these chats are fucking killing me tonight. You're killing me with this chat tonight. Fellaini had better hair or worse, depending on how you view it. I love that. Selling 8 won't be much of a change, though. That will include the likes of Onana, Rashford, Sancho, Malacia. Needs to be more like 15 going. There's more than that as well, isn't there? Mount would be our second highest paid player next season if he stays at the club due to our qualification of the Champions League. And you know what, Ben? You're right. Eric... 10 Hag. Eric Ten Hag, you're in the fucking book, you fucking pug-nosed twat. Absolutely ruined us with some of those transfers. He absolutely has ruined us with some of these transfers. Oh, this is the thing, isn't it? Like the modern day manager. They can't be allowed to have all of the fucking say in these transfers. The game's moved on so much more than what it was years ago. Oh, God. Honestly. Dan, please make sure he's in there. Don't you fucking worry. He's in there. I voted in Dyers. I think the young lad is not what we need right now. Agree with that. Can't you take... How do you know where Dawley's social... Steve, are you from Telford? Steve, have you been from Telford all this time? I'm shooketh. That is mad. Ben and Mir in the same... Exactly. Somerville is underrated and would be cheaper. I would love Somerville. The only thing with Somerville is injuries for me, Red Times. Somerville's definitely a conversation to be had. If we can keep him fit, he's fucking quality. But... there's going to be conversations there, I think. It all depends on who goes down as well. He bought be in there too, had a good eye for a keeper, absolutely, and got rid of David De Gea. Bowen's too old for me, Carl. Bowen's what, 29 now? Yeah, 29 too. And this is the other thing as well. Like, I want this lad back next season. It was an interesting conversation with. Oh right, Steve's had us. Steve, you're going in the book for that. Steve, you're in the book for that. You're in the book for that because I thought you were one of my. I thought you were one of my neighbours. Then you're in the book. You raised our hope. So Vitek has said that on returning to Manchester United this summer, at the moment, I'm focusing on being as strong as possible for Bristol City with 8 games to play. I want to give my best for the club and rebuild my platform towards next season. Then I will communicate with Man United closely and we will see what's going to be best for me next season. But I want to play football. I don't want to be just someone sitting there on the bench. Now, look, Vitek, I think, unfortunately, I'm going to level with you. I like Vitek. We spoke about Vitek in the summer as well, didn't we? And we said, we said this lad's got bags of potential. He was already better than what we had. Vitek, with the greatest of respect, yes, you've done well at Bristol this season. But if Manchester United are pulling you back and they want you to be the number 2 to fight for Lemmy, and there will be opportunities in the cups, there will. And I'm sorry, mate, you're going to have to sit down and shut up and take it because you're still a young lad. You have got so much to learn in your goalkeeping career. And I would even go one step further with this. Like I've said to you before, Manchester United at the moment have the potential for 2 young goalkeepers on their books that can go toe-to-toe for that number 1 for the next 10 years, for the next 12 years. Vitek will get opportunities. He will. I want to see him come because, look, I think we all know that Actually, yeah. Belgium are in the World Cup, aren't they? Belgium are in the World Cup. We know that Lemmy will be going to the World Cup. We know that. So he will have a break. Vitek will come back and he will be the number one goalkeeper whilst we're in pre-season until Lemmy comes back. We know that I believe Tom Heaton is going to sign a new contract to stay on as that third, fourth, or whatever choice keeper. But he'll have opportunity to impress in the pre-season tour. I don't think a season on loan at City can sort of have you dictate what you do next season. I don't think he's trying to dictate that. I think he wants to play football, but he will get opportunities at Manchester United. And I'm excited to see what these two can bring. I'm excited to see what these two lads can bring for us moving forwards. Sorry, my throat is so hoarse. I'm amazed I've done so well. And in fact, look, I'll ask you this. Let me put this in the poll. Do we rate Vitek highly? Do we rate Vitek highly? I do. I think this young lad, I've seen him in some games for Bristol City this season. He's been incredible. I mean, the poor lad's going to be managed by Roy Hodgson. He's going to be managed by Roy. And that's going to be a bit of a task for him to understand what he's talking about, bless him. But I think this goes back to what I said about Chida Obi and Kone as well, and other young lads like Harry Amas, Diego Leon, Fredrickson. I think they should all go out on loan in the Championship. I really do. I don't know why United haven't linked up with a team like that they can just send all these young lads to and get them minutes. Do you know what I'd honestly do at the moment with Sheffield Wednesday and the fucking mess they are? I'd link with Sheffield Wednesday. I'd use them as a fucking feeder club. I'd send somebody. I mean, ultimately, I know they're going to League One. Vitek's better than League One. But the younger lads, instead of this under-21s nonsense where they learn nothing, send them all out there. Get them playing. Get them getting kicked up and down the pitch week in, week out. 46 games a season. You develop so much better playing week in, week out. I don't know why we haven't done that for a long time. Let me just have a look. 75% of you rate him highly. I'm surprised that 25% don't, but the chat does seem to be going that way tonight. You do seem to be all over the place. I love it. I love it. And then, of course, look, music to my ears. Your music to my eyes. I had to listen just to find you. Lisandro Martinez is set to be part of the United squad for their training camp in Ireland as he targets a return against Leeds. This is massive, and I'm buzzing at this because, look, Harry Maguire is missing for the Leeds game thanks to, I don't even want to I'm not even going to mention his name because I get angry. I'm not even going to mention his name. Having this guy back, a leader on the pitch, and also adding to what we've been trying to do in defence. Lisandro Martinez, out of all of our centre-backs this season, has been the one that brings the ball out and is that ball-playing defender and brings the ball to the halfway line and tries to start attacks. This guy's he's been such a miss, and I'm so happy that he's back. My only prayer, touch the screen, touch my hand, is that we have him for the rest of the season. 7 cup finals left to go. Manchester United absolutely need this lad back firing on all cylinders. Manchester United have missed him. We've done okay with Yoro. Yoro's had some opportunities. He played for the under-21s last night and captain France. But ultimately, in this run-up to the end of the season, Manchester United need their best. They need their best. I'll tell you what I'll do quickly. Let me bring this up. I had to listen just to find you. Let me bring this onto the screen, chat, because I think it's important that we do this. Let me get rid of the butcher a second. I've just done a cheeky fart then, and I don't think anybody heard that. That's magic. Browse. Where are we? Screenshot. Boom. I'll cover myself a second. I'll make it big. No, I won't. I can't be asked for making it big. That's what she said. Let me just put it there a second. They are our final fixtures. These are our final fixtures. Take the Bournemouth one out of there. Leeds, massive game. Chelsea, massive game. Then it's Brentford at home. United absolutely need to make sure that they are going into the last 2 games of the season, and this is pretty much done. The Liverpool game is going to be huge, but then Liverpool are all over the place at the moment. I ideally, in a dream world, and some may say that I'm a dreamer, and I'm not the only one. If you know, you know. The dream scenario here is beat Chelsea and Leeds and go 13 points ahead of Chelsea. That is like wow. And Joel, good to see you, mate. I was worried about you. That is absolutely the season over. I think if we beat Leeds and Chelsea, I think Champions League football is done. I think we're done. We've got Champions League football. Now, that's not to say that we then take our foot off the gas for the rest of the season, because I still want us to cement 3rd place. And you know something? Let me put a poll with that, because, Joel, you make a great comment there. Vitex at 70% of being rated highly. Let me just... That's a banging poll. Oh, I really want a Chinese name. If we beat Leeds... If we beat her... Fucking hell. If we beat Leeds and Chelsea, is UCL done? Yes or no? If we beat Leeds and Chelsea, is the season practically done for us? I'm glad someone got it. Nice one, Greg. Gregory, depends on the player. For example, Ugarte is better being unavailable. Yeah, I agree. How many times do we watch that guy warm up and go, oh, fucking hell. Oh, not again. Not again. 100% of you straight away are saying yes. Look, it's a conversation, isn't it? We need 10 points from the last 7 games. Well, I can tell you now, 3 against Leeds. I think the 10 points guaranteed is the 3 against Leeds. I think we beat Brentford. I think we beat... Yeah, we'll beat Forest. And I think we'll beat Sunderland. They're the ones that I go, yeah, absolutely. That absolutely, makes sense. I forgot about my bloody coffee. But, as I say, by that point, Chelsea have still got some horrible games left as well. Horrible games. Let me get Chelsea. No, I'm not even going to concern myself with Chelsea. They're not. They don't bother me anymore. They don't scare me any. You know what I mean? I think we only lose to Brentford and Brighton in them games. I think we beat Brighton. I think United will be up for the Brighton game. I think he'll have the players well up for that Brighton game because we were so poor against them. I would say if we can get 10 points in the next 4 games, we are for sure safe. Subra, I wouldn't disagree with that. Giles says Leeds and Forest could be the hardest games left. They are fighting against being relegated. I think we'll smash Leeds. Leeds have picked up a few draws, to be fair, but I think we smash Leeds. Like I genuinely think we smash them. And we struggled a bit since Martinez and Dorgu have dropped out, become very predictable. Dorgu is back light training. Now, there are reports we don't know if the Leeds game will be too soon for him, but I think he will definitely be back for the Chelsea game, which again is another massive, massive plus for Manchester United. The Chelsea game, we could potentially have Maguire back and Dorgu back, which I think would be good. I've given up hope on De Ligt. Poor De Ligt. I've given up hope on him. But there we are, guys. I mean, that is where we are. Move my hands a bit. That is the remaining games of the season. And I can tell you that 89% of you think if we beat Leeds and Chelsea, that the Champions League qualification is done and we are dusted. Dorgu could be on the bench. Martinez, not sure what is wrong with this dude. Charlie's just, I worry about him, but I think the Martinez conversation is one we have at the end of the season as to what we do with him. I want to keep him, but I want to bring other players in. I think we smashed. Honestly, Chelsea have in football. Let me get myself back on the big screen. In football, you have in life. Do you know what? In life, you have you have the moments, okay? It can be when you're at work and someone tries to say that you've done something that you haven't done, and you sit there and you look and you go, and you know after that relationship is just going to go down the pan with that person. It can be when you are on a night out with a mate and, you're both single and you look at the same girl and you go to the lad, you know something, I fancy her, I'm going to have a dance. You go and get a drink, you come back, he's dancing with her and you go, that's going to ruin a friendship. in Manchester United, in Chelsea's situation here, now that you've got the likes of Cucurella coming out saying Barca, you've obviously got Enzo Fernandez saying he wants Madrid. Chelsea's record of buying players that are going to come in and better them haven't been great. And I think what we're witnessing here with Rafinha in charge is an uh-oh moment. I think this is the moment we look and we go, uh-oh. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out with Chelsea, because if Chelsea don't get Champions League football, and there is a real possibility here that Chelsea drop out of the European standings altogether. To go from the highs of winning the World Club Championship last season and winning, to be fair, they won the Europa League, not Europa League, the Europa Conference, to then be dumped out like this. I think there's uh-oh moments ahead. Real Madrid are not paying 100 million for Enzo. He's a troublemaker. Jarl, how long has he got left on his contract? Because we know what Madrid's game is. We know they like to wait for the free transfer, don't they? Let me just have a look. Contracts. Is it 6 to 8 years? Fucking hell. Nah, is it? I can't see his contract. That's bonkers. I mean, that is absolutely fucking bonkers, isn't it? Ah, Jesus Christ. Yeah, Chelsea are stuck with him. And I don't, do you know something? I'll say this to you all. I don't even rate him. I think Enzo Fernandez is another one that I'd love to absolutely slap across the back of the head. Like, when you see him up against Mason Mount when United play Chelsea, and he's like proper go for it. Then you see Casemiro go near him, and he's like, oh, no. Honestly, Enzo Fernandez, he's just a tit. And yeah, we all laugh. Let's all laugh at Chelsea for buying Garnacho. Did us a favour there. Can I ask Dan, what do you think of Nick Pope coming for 20 million as number 2? Absolutely not. I don't want... No, Nick Pope is a transfer we stay well away from. Vitek, I think, has a higher ceiling. Well, I know he's older, but I mean, for where their careers can go, Nick Pope's been a decent goalkeeper. I'd be happy with Vitek staying in next season as the number 2. And it's a waste of money. Like, it is a waste of money. Hopefully, top 4 is done and dusted with games to spare. Got some of the younger players, and that is exactly what I wanted to finish on. That is exactly what I wanted to finish on. If Manchester United can get themselves to the last 2 or 3 games of the season, and it is all done, and they know Champions League is secured, and we know that 3rd place is secured, then I want to see the Shea Lacey's get minutes. I want to see the Obi Martin, Chida Obi, I was going to say Obafemi Martin, Chida Obi's get the minutes. I want to see Fredrickson get some more minutes. I want to see the Fletchers come and have another go. I want these young lads to have more opportunities. I want to see Diego Leon on the bench if we can get him on there. Manchester United, we've always done it, haven't we? If there's been games to spare, then we've allowed the younger lads to come on and do their thing. And I think absolutely, if we've got it all done and dusted, United can absolutely do that. 8 years is a heck of a long time. Yeah, honestly, Chelsea are stuck with. I think he's awful. Put City in the book. I mean, I'll put them in there because, do you know what? Not even for that, Jamie. Just because they're City. And that's it, guys. Do you know what? It's been good to get back. Palmer is on 130 grand a week. I hope we don't get Palmer. I hope we don't get Palmer. If we look at Palmer, then we have wasted our time. Palmer doesn't fit into United's side. I said this in a short a couple of months ago, and a load of people fucking went mad at me. But I don't want Cole Palmer. I just don't want Cole Palmer. Not for me. 83% of you to end that poll say if we beat Chelsea and Leeds, then we will be Champions League for sure. Chappie, I won't put you in the book, mate. You could have had any reason why you were missing, why you were late tonight. So don't worry about it, my guy. City or Cheetah, or as Jamie Tart says, both poopy. The crazy long contracts was Chelsea's plan to spend big and spread the cost. Said it at the time. It will bite them in the arse. It will bite them in the arse. Honestly, Chelsea are an absolute joke. What is that in the back of my... What the bloody hell's... Why have I got Mrs. Robinson's bloody dress in my... Bloody hell, I didn't even notice all that washing. Why didn't you tell me about the bloody washing in the background? Right then, if that wasn't a reason to get out of here, then I don't know what is. I will see you all tomorrow night. I'm hoping to have Tezki on. Tezki's fantastic. He is fantastic. If you don't follow him on Twitter, go and have a look at him. He's incredible. Hoping to have him on at 8 o'clock tomorrow. But go and enjoy your Tuesday evenings, you beautiful buggers. It has been absolutely fantastic to get back and speak to you all. It hasn't been the best day, mainly due to Mrs. Robinson and that operation being cancelled. But as I always say, you guys make the world better, and being able to come and vent about football, this community always does what it says on the tin. We're there for each other. We are always there for each other. We are going to be there for each other forever and ever and ever and ever. Love you all. Cherish you all. And as I say, always, pain is temporary. Class is permanent. Dan United. Oota!